What up, Internet Void? This is SpaceUnicorn coming back at ya. Dagon dropped 2 days ago, and I forgot. I had it on my wish list, and I was ready to get it. So, Dagon by Golem. I've heard good things about the game. I know it's only been out for 2 days, but I am a Lovecraft fan, mostly for his really weird writing. It's not like the stories are that great, so to speak, but I love the universe, and I love how he can string some words together in weird ways. And as problematic as he is, it was still cool. So I was really looking forward to playing this game because Dagon is a good story, actually, and generally the Lovecraft universe can be fun. And also, it's probably the level of horror that I can actually handle without having to detoxify myself for a long time. Amnesia is... I do want to complete the game, but my god, Amnesia is scary. And I've also decided that I can skip ahead and play the second game if I want, because that's what I want to do. But today we are playing Dagon. Supposedly it's only a half-hour game. I'm gonna take my time, because we also have some laundry, but I think we should be good with our options. Resolution's probably fine. I checked some sound, so I think it's good. I have not played yet, so I don't know about camera sensitivity, but we should have lines on it. I have not bought the DLC because I'm not sure it actually adds that much to the game playing experience, and while I do want to support indie developers, I think I should actually experience this game before I give them my money. I've only heard good things. Never pre-order. We never pre-order. So, let's get into it. I press that. Dagon is a faithful interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequences, or inventory management here, and movement is limited to progressing through locations along with the plot. It's a walking simulator. I'm cool with that. I also want to play Edith Finch at one point.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
Yeah, that is the title line of Dagon. Let me just have a look around. Okay, mouse sensitivity is very low, but let's get over the scene first. Okay. If I remember the story correctly, it ends at the top of a bell tower. We're gonna do something very nice in a moment. Oh yeah, there's the heroine! How nice! I found the heroine! And probably the lamp we used to burn it, and this is the writing that Dagon is on. Probably. Alright, right. You're riding on a mental strain. How do I... Okay. During the game you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey. Others reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. So we got circles and question marks. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the Elder Sign. Is this the Elder Sign? It's not normally the Elder Sign. You can also access all the found facts later. They will be available in the main menu. Okay, so we have to find things. And... oh, focus your eye. I should left click. Right click, sorry. Mouse is so weird. I should right click to see them. Okay. Ah. I wanted to see if I could read the heroine or something. Oh. What is this? Lovecraft's letters. As to letters, my case is peculiar. I write such things exactly as easily and as rapidly as I would utter the same topics in conversation. Indeed, epistolary expression is with me largely replacing conversation, as my condition of nervous prostration becomes more and more acute. I cannot bear to talk much now, and am becoming as silent as the spectator himself. My loquacity extends itself on paper. Again, word choice is so weird. I understand most of what just happened, but there are 2 words in this that I had no idea what are. Epistolary expression. I should probably not poke you for every single word that I don't understand while playing a Lovecraft game, so I'll only poke you with the important ones. Talking to my boyfriend. My loquacity. Okay, but I'm guessing this is about his anxiety, because it's literally like, I'm too anxious to talk. Yeah, H.P. Lovecraft to Reinhard Kleiner in 1917. Throughout his life, Lovecraft penned around 100,000 letters to his friends and fans, out of which about 10% survive to this day. That's still a lot. But his tendency to endless correspondence was a relatively late growth. In youth, I scarcely did any letter writing. Thanking anybody for a present was so much of an ordeal that I would rather have written a 250-line pastoral or a 20-page treatise on the rings of Saturn. Another letter. Lovecraft would often skip meals to afford postage. Collection of his correspondence have been published in various books, and selected letters can be found online. Some readers consider them his most important legacy. Lovecraft was really a character. It wasn't his late life that he became sadder, in my opinion. In terms of dying and stuff, but he was not a happy fellow, and he wasn't a guy I would like to meet. I just appreciate his writing. Just look at the style of writing. It's so weird and so nice. Alright, so we're learning how to play. Let us focus. Now that's how we move on. I need to make sure. I've seen it all. Is there anything on the ceiling? That is gross, but thank you for the detail of the wet ceiling. Will this game take a long time to play, you ask me? Yes, when I'm playing it, it will. Alright.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
Yes. I mean, no, you shouldn't do that, but you are. If this follows the story, which I believe it does. Okay, I don't need to find anything, just move on.
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate.
Oh, sorry, it's morphine, not heroin. I don't know my drugs. Sorry.
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
Well, that's nice. Alright, you can see some stuff. I don't think there's gonna be an elder sign around this table, but I'm gonna check. Alright, 2 things to poke. That's gonna move us along, so what do you have here? Morphine! Morphine entered into use in the 19th century and was routinely administered to treat severe pain during the American Civil War and World War I. It was also sold without restriction until 1914. It's almost amazing. Morphine became more popular after the invention of the hypodermic syringe around 1854. Frederick Septerna, that's German, I'm not pronouncing that right, who first isolated the substance, originally named it morphium, after Morpheus, the Greek god associated with dreams. Understood. At the time when Dagon was published, morphine abuse, known as soldier's disease, already posed a big problem in the United States. Yeah, because morphine is addictive as hell. A lot of drugs are addictive as hell, especially painkillers, for interesting reasons probably. But morphine is especially addictive, and it is generally a sad story. So. Problem is, it's a really good pain reliever. It works for a while. And the addiction is very powerful. Like some say, if you want to look at it, sugar is about as addictive or even more. But sugar doesn't quite do the same things to your mind as morphine can do. What you got for us? Oh, it's time.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Supercargo, I'm just assuming that means we're here for no reason. Okay, focus particularly soon. Excuse me. So, yes, anyway. What you got? Oh, now I can look around. Okay, excuse me, I need to change the mouse sensitivity. That needs to be higher. Sorry, I'm using a weird mouse to help my shoulders, and it is better if the sensitivity is rather high. So I don't have to move it too much. There we go, much better. Alright, I don't think we have anything in the sides. Although that means I'm also going to Squish around a lot. Stars are very nice. I wonder if they're gonna stay nice. Alright, bro. What you got? That was gunshots.
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation.
Ah, I wish I knew what that flag is. Yeah, no, I got nothing. Sorry. All I have is that black eagle looks a bit too much like the Amnesia eagle, and that's actually scaring me a little bit already. So, that's great. Do you know what flag that is? Do you know what flag that is? No, right? Yeah. I don't know history for shit. Oh. Am I supposed to find something?
So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
That's nice. Oh, we're gonna learn about the flag, are we? I just want to make sure I'm not missing secrets. Alright, what you got for me? The Huns! Oh, it was a Hun flag? Location to me. The Huns were Central Asian nomads who established a dominion in Europe and invaded the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. They were known as brutal, deadly warriors and masters of quick raids, who also developed powerful composite bows, lassos, and early siege weapons. I mostly know them from Mulan. During World War I, the British used the word Hun as a synonym for Germans in order to emphasize their brutality. However, the term originated when the German Emperor Wilhelm II gave a speech to his troops in the 27th July 1990. Wow. 27th of July in the 1900s, before they embarked to China. Should you encounter the enemy, he will be defeated. No quarter will be given. Prisoners will not be taken. Whoever falls into your hand is forfeited. Just as 1,000 years ago, the Huns under their king Attila made a name for themselves. One that even today makes them seem mighty in history and legend. May the name German be affirmed by you in such a way in China that no Chinese will ever again dare to look cross-eyed at a German. The refusal to take prisoners was a clear breach of the laws and customs of war adopted during the First Hague Conventions of 1899. Okay, so it's not actually the flag of the Huns, it's German something something. That actually makes a lot more sense. And I get the sentiment that this, was it a general? Emperor was going for? That like, the Chinese will have to fear us as much as we fear the Huns, even though they don't exist anymore, kind of thing. And it's always a bit funny to me that when we have wars going on, there are still some rules you should all play by, and if you don't play by those rules, we are like, even more at war with you. You're being even more mean. It's like chemical warfare is not allowed, but it's like you're gonna be even more at war if you break them. I'm not good at politics, there's probably something. Alright, but then let's go with you. The boat. We will travel. I haven't even tried moving it.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
Yeah, there really are no one around. Yeah, that's how we move on. I want to see the sea. Nice color. It's not overwhelmingly green yet. I don't know if that's gonna change.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings.
Yeah, the ocean will do that to you. Sun or moon? Don't know.
Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator.
That is not a lot to go by, is it?
Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
You should have figured that out before you left the boat. Say I, a very competent sea navigator. I don't even know if these stars are right. I mean, I live on the north of the equator, so Any constellations I know are probably gonna... I say that, and this one looks familiar actually. I don't think it's actually awesome. That one looks familiar too. I've seen that one on star maps. Okay, I think the stars might actually be right. That is awesome detail. Yeah, I think that one is right too. Well, that is cool. Good job, developer. I'm sorry, I already forgot your name. I looked it up before. Bitgoblin. Bitgoblin. Good job on the stars. Let's just check the boat for secrets. I don't think there is anything. Yeah, no, we're good. Let's go. Hello, moon.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
Or inhabitable. Should grab that ore. Fair enough. Let's have a look around. Are your provisions good? Oh, oh. Is that a sign? That it is. That was a really hidden one far away. Okay, the return to short stories. Dagon was written in July 1917 and first published in 1990 in The Vagrant, an amateur magazine focused on the supernatural. The story is the first of his stories that introduce an element from the Cthulhu mythos, Dagon itself. A pagan cult worshipping Dagon later appears in The Shadow over Innsmouth, one of Lovecraft's most popular works. Yes, that one's good. 1970 is also the year when he wrote The Tomb, a story about Jarvis Dudley, a daydreamer who discovers a mysterious mausoleum in the woods by his house and becomes obsessed with it. Oh, I remember that one. That one was weird. Like, for the longest time I didn't think there was anything actually happening in that story, but that was because I just... somehow I didn't read the verbs. It was very strange. Okay, these two works marked Lovecraft's return to short stories writing after he burned most of his attempts at the genre 9 years prior and decided to concentrate on poetry. Lovecraft stated that it was his friend, William Hall Cook, a literary publisher and critic, who convinced him to start writing weird fiction again. I have never read any Lovecraft poetry, but I can imagine he might have been good at it. Or clumsy. You never know with Lovecraft, really. But I'm happy he started writing short stories again. So some of his long stories are just, they are killing me. Oh, what's that one called? He wrote that very long one about the Arctic that I can never remember what it's called, but it is good, but it's also so long. My god.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue.
Oh, we can only look at the sky now. Yeah. I get it, man.
The change happened whilst I slept.
Yeah, no, don't sleep. Sleep is bad.
Its details I shall never know. For my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
Know that feel. Ugh. Well, alright. That's different. And weird. Hello, fish. Can I just... Ugh. Like, as gross as that is. Nice animation. Okay. Fish, hello.
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see.
Monotonous undulations.
And in which my boat lay grounded some distance away.
Yep. Seems fine enough.
Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished.
Yeah, I get that. I would be too. This is a nightmarescape. It's not the worst I've ever seen, but it's bad.
For there was in the air, and in the rotting soil, a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core.
That's probably the smell, man.
The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish, and of other, less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really big starfish.
Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity.
Are we gonna read the whole novel? Because I am into that.
There was nothing within hearing, and nothing in sight, save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear.
It's too flat.
The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
That's actually a weird thing. But again, very cool. And the stars appear to be right. Oh, we can look around now. Awesome. Can I move? No, I can't move. But I can. Look at that octopus. A little flatfish. At least what they're called in Danish. Starfish. I only know you as a Pokemon, but I know you're an actual creature as well. And this guy, and that thing. Ugh.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position.
And I'm guessing it's not dreaming.
Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
I don't know enough about the ocean to know if that's possible or not. Oh, hello. You are cool.
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might.
That's actually kind of impressive, yeah.
Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
If you're in the middle of the ocean, I don't think there are that many birds. Oh, those are worms. I don't like that. Oh, that's gross. Also, what is that? There's a big slimy thing that doesn't look like a hill. It's moving too much. I don't like that. I'm hoping I'm not missing too many secrets. I can't look at the boat. No. Oh, but this is nice. Oh, oh! It's a big one! The mystery of volcanic islands. Volcanic eruptions sometimes result in the creation of islands. Most of them are transient and erode after some time, but some prove permanent. The floating pumice, porous rock created from superheated pressurized rock is ejected from a volcano, can move across long distances and transport barnacles and macroalgae that cling to it. In 2001, rafts of pumice created during the eruption of a volcano near Tonga in Polynesia eventually reached Australia. Okay, thank you for this trivia. So that means this is actually sort of possible. I still don't know what that is. That thing scares me, and I don't like it. Because there's not anything that's gonna light up when I'm at a right spot. I need to actually look for the elder sign. It annoys me that they call it an elder sign when it's not the pentagram, but I suppose it's never actually been specified in the stories what an elder sign is. It could be other shapes. Either way, if he says that's an elder sign, it's fine. Fish.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens.
Oh, that's going fast, isn't it?
As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time.
I really hate that starfish over there. It's so floppy. If that makes sense. That looks like an elder sign to me, but it's not.
That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
Those scared me. Those I was just coming over. Oh my, wow. Just not expecting. Oh, this is creepy. That's awesome. Let me have a look around. Hi, Moon. Hi, stars. I'm not sure the stars are right. I'm just guessing. I don't know. Said I'm in the northern hemisphere. I have not seen a lot of southern hemisphere stars. Okay, I don't see an other side anyway. I worry if there's one on every single one of these. 'Cause in that case, I already missed a bunch. And I'm not gonna like click every single surface. Also, these are terrifying and gross. All right, let's move on.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease.
What is
The
that?
odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
That makes sense. Alright, let's have a look. What is this? It's either a really long shell or some kind of bomb. Alright. Other side? Yeah. Not here either. What are those stripy things? Stripes are cool. Also can't turn a whole lot, so I think our only option is to move on. And this? No, that's not a thing. Alright. I just gotta walk over it instead of around it? Cool. Cool.
All day I forged steadily westward,
What is
guided
that?
by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
No, I get that. I get that. What the heck am I surrounded by? I've been playing too much Skyrim, so that looks like a dragon tail to me. I'm guessing it's not. What are you? What is this? Also, good job on making the ground look both gross, but, you know, travelable. What is that? This thing looks weird. I'm not seeing an elder sign, but I am straining my eyes to find it. They're usually sort of woven into the surroundings, you know? And I was really hoping to get more information on this guy. What the heck is that? And I'm guessing... No, I can't move towards it. I was gonna look at it. I can't turn more back. Those are just rocks. Alright, I think we're gonna move on. The mud. That is gross. I've been enough of a horse girl to know that mud this color should not be trusted. Ugh. Ah, I was looking for the stars again, obviously. Okay. Oh hey! An animal I know! Whale. And... tentacles. Probably shouldn't be surprised with Lovecraft that there are tentacles around. A humpback whale? I'm not sure these islands are strong enough to actually lift a whale up. It would just swim away. Oh, I should turn those off when I'm playing, right? Ah. Anyway. Moving towards the mountain.
That night, I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
Is there a reason you're camping within the giant worms of hell death? Like any reason in particular? Why you would think that's a good idea? Is that a thing? It's not a thing. The question is if this is one continuous thing or a bunch of different things, because this could be just one, but then is that also one? So there's the big family. The horrors of the ocean, thank you. The creator of the Cthulhu mythos and the fictional underwater city of Relith was convinced that life could not exist at the bottom of the oceans because the water pressure would make it uninhabitable. Today we know that the darkest depths of the oceans are home to many peculiar organisms. The deepest dwelling fish we have discovered so far, the Mariana snailfish, can live about 8,000 meters, more than 26,000 feet, below the ocean's surface, in never-ending darkness and at hellishly crushing pressures, 100 times as stronger than those we find at sea level. Upon glancing at the modern photos of deep-sea creatures, such as the anglerfish, the fangtooth, or the viperfish, and their truly Lovecraftian characteristics, it's not hard to find some irony in this. Yeah, but that's just a factor of old-fashioned science and a bit of humbling for what we might believe now. But there was a time where people thought that traveling as fast as a locomotive would actually kill people. Like, we can't handle moving that fast, what would happen? So it makes sense that someone would think that the pressure in the ocean, which is very, very high, insanely high, is just not something that anything terrestrial can survive. And that's where the imagination starts going. So what if it's just not terrestrial? There's no rule saying it has to be. Cool, we found an L design on the worm. Lovely. Let us proceed to the mountain. Oh,
by the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance.
And the sky is very pretty color.
An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface.
Yeah.
Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
Sure, that's a good idea. I mean, the sky's a pretty color, but the ground here is kind of gross looking. And a nice little cloud. Nice clouds.
I know not why my dreams were so wild that night.
You know why.
But ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more.
Oh, you can get that feeling after nightmares.
Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again.
I'm not sure the stars are right anymore. But I was never sure in the first place, so don't think too much. There are a couple over there that seem weirdly close together. Okay. Too much.
And in the glow of the moon, I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day.
Yeah, I was waiting for this bit. I was worried to cut it.
Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy.
Yeah, but some people find it hard to sleep when it's sunny.
Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset.
Alright, we're climbing the hill.
Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
The eminence. Alright. Yeah, that's moving on. Let's just have a look around. I'm not sure the old design's actually supposed to be hard to find, but... The Loner. Contrary to popular opinion, Lovecraft was not an ever-frowning, eccentric, grumpy loner. He considered himself to be a person who appreciated humor. Moreover, he would often meet with friends in his apartment or at various cafes in Brooklyn and Manhattan. At times his social life was so intensive, his work would suffer for months. There was a point when he finally decided he needs to put an end to daily meetings and loitering in New York's cafeterias and resorted to hiding at home and reading with the main room light turned off, pretending he wasn't there whenever a friend knocked on his door. He also had another method of deterring his guests, which involved greeting them in a bathrobe, with an unmade bed visible in the background and piles of papers scattered around the floor. Yeah, I'm not gonna diagnose Lovecraft with anything, but these kind of extremes are usually a sign of something not quite being right with you, in a way that a professional should probably have a look at. And his general fears and sadness sometimes. You needed help, boy. You needed help. Also, I know he was not a super fan of New York, because that's also where he wrote a story about how mega scary... What is it called? Not air purifiers. Air conditioning is. Oh no, machines. And the sky is green now. Wonderful. That's a good sign.
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me.
Gross sound.
But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine.
I can't look down yet.
I felt myself on the edge of the world.
Yeah, I get that.
peering over the rim into a
Thank you.
fathomless chaos of eternal night.
Oh. Nice little
Through my
quest.
terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost, and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness.
Yeah.
As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
Ooh. I do see the light get brighter. Can we have a look? I don't think there's gonna be any other signs around here though. No, nothing to find. There is something over there with a funny shape. I wonder if that's gonna be important. Walk forward.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent.
Yeah, you can do it. Do you think that's something?
Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
Yeah, you just found the one cliff, man. Shitty luck. Let me just... Okay. Yeah, no, there's nothing. Let's just pop on. Bloop.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath,
Yay?
gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated.
That looks a bit too geometrical to be right, you know?
All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me.
It's a weird one.
An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Yes, you are disturbing. Like a nice little monolith you made. And there are no signs around, so let's see what we got. Yes, let's walk towards the hell light.
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself.
Yeah, surely nothing weird's gonna
But I
happen.
was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
Agreed. Very much agreed.
A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
Fear. Alright, is that something? No, it's not. And it's just mud. Yeah, just mud. Let's move on.
For despite its enormous magnitude, and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith,
Yeah, it is.
whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures.
The worship might be a bit of a stretch.
Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Oh yeah, you get to do that? Yeah, we should go there. We should go. Yeah, just go. I'll split. Oh!
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm.
Showed weirdly even. Oh, I like this.
And revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions, and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope.
Yeah, it is.
Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the cyclopean monolith,
Yeah, there's writing on
on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
it. As the sculptures are more the paintings. Kind of thing. It is annoying that the light is just ruining the middle part there, but I see sort of sea creatures here moving up. That's very cool. That's what it is. Look at that. That's a whale, probably. Those two are definitely whales. And here we have, oh my god, not human faces! And fish people. And over here, a bunch of fish. That's a lot of fish. And once again, I don't think there's gonna be anything around, but let's have a look. It's almost weird we haven't talked about Lovecraft's fear of the ocean yet, but maybe that's considered low-hanging fruit and now.
The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me, and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books.
I'm not sure I'd classify this as writing. This might just be pictures.
Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like.
Yeah. Okay, first I thought that was a hand, but it's not. It's just a seashell. It's fine.
Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world.
Yeah, that one looks like a grasshopper, but it's not. We know that one. Most of these are known. That one out to the side looks a little weird too. And the middle one, well, we know what it is.
But whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain.
Yeah, that's why they're there.
It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Oh, really? Shall we have a look? Moment. Storytelling methods. Dagon contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through carvings at the Mountains of Madness, the Nameless City. It's Mountains of Madness, yeah, that's the one that's super long. It takes place in the Arctic, and I also really like. So you tell the story through carvings, journals, and character notes. Shadow of Time, the Haunter, the dog. He generally likes journals and just characters writing something down for no reason. He also likes islands emerging from the oceans in the Call of Cthulhu. That one's also a bunch of character notes. It's actually pretty cool. Also fictional beings and deities based on real events and mythologies. Migo in the Whispering in Darkness. I think I've read Whispering in Darkness. I just can't remember it right now. It is also considered the origin of its popular Cthulhu mythos. Some of Lovecraft's other stories also conclude in a manner similar to Dagon. But let's not spoil the ending. I already did that, actually. I'm sorry. I didn't think anyone would go into a Lovecraft story expecting the main character to live a long, happy life. So I'm just gonna assume no one's upset with me for that.
Plainly visible across the intervening water, on account of their enormous size, were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré.
I'm gonna... Oh, a doré, that means the guy who likes Salvador? Maybe? I don't know.
I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men.
Yeah, of course, that's what they are.
Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto.
Yeah. Oh no, fear.
Or paying homage at some monolithic shrine, which appeared to be under the waves as well.
I wonder if that shrine is this shrine. No. Why would you paint a shrine onto the shrine? Seems counterproductive. But there are a bunch of crosses in churches, I suppose.
Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail.
That's okay.
For the mere remembrance makes me grow faint.
Oh boy.
Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
Yeah, Poe was taking the rounds now. I like that bottom face. It looks weird. And a little bit like Emperor Palpatine.
They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips.
Oh yeah, that one? That has the lips going.
Glassy, bulging eyes.
Yep.
And other features less pleasant to recall.
It's generally gross and their noses, mouth thingies are weird.
Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background.
You think so? Not sure.
For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that one I can see is interesting, but that one also looks a little different than the ones on top. Maybe they have a master race.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size. but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe.
Yes, that's probably the nicer of the explanations.
Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Yeah. Let's have a look around. I don't think there's anything to see. Oh. Are you sure? Saw some nice depictions. Oh wait, I see you. The Piltdown Man. I do not know what that means. Lovecraft would often use the latest scientific discoveries as inspiration for his work. He would even update his stories at the last moment in order to make sure they reflected the latest breakthroughs. Unfortunately, this method was not without its flaws. After Lovecraft's death, the Piltdown Man discovery mentioned in Dagon turned out to be a paleontological fraud. In 1912, Charles Dawson, not Darwin, an amateur archaeologist announced that he had discovered the missing link between ape and man, the fossilized remains of a previously unknown early human. Years later, they turned out to be a forgery, but by the time the fraud had already managed to negatively affect the early research on human evolution. In the year when the discovery took place, the majority of the scientific information believed Dawson indeed found the missing link. In 1953, Times Magazine published evidence proving that Dawson was a con man. It turned out that the fossils of the previously unknown early human consisted of a human skull, jaw of a orangutan, and chimpanzee teeth. And that's why we DNA test, people. That's why we DNA test. But yeah, I always maybe wrongly got the impression that Lovecraft used the newest research because it scared him. Like if you've read Color Out of Space, that thing is just like, what can colors do? And if you've seen the Halloween special on Overly Sarcastic Productions on Lovecraft, I really like the thing with, oh, there are colors that humans can't see. What might they be capable of? They're actually capable of a lot of cool things that helps advance science, but that's another discussion. I didn't even know about the Piltdown Man, but I was also born after 1953. Alright, moving on.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me.
Sure it's gonna stay silent, bro?
Then, suddenly, I saw it.
Oh no, where is it? I'm not seeing it. Oh! Oh, the water. I don't like this.
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters.
Oh, this is cool.
It darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith.
How did it get out of that shallow water?
About which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
I'm not sure that's a measured sound, but okay. And we are passing out.
I think I went mad then.
Yeah.
Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Ugh. Alright. Well, there's definitely something wrong with you. And also, isn't that the ground? No, I think you're climbing. You're climbing. That works.
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
And the green is here. Always green. Ooh. Okay, it's rain. It's rain. Beautiful sky.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat.
Yes, thank God for that one. The thing is still moving. Great.
At any rate, I know that I heard bells of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
Yeah. big thing doesn't come after me.
When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital.
Nice and clean.
Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean.
Oh, thank you.
In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention.
That's good, though. That's why you're not locked up.
Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing.
Oh, it's
Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Smart man. Got another one. Let's just have a look around first. This looks pretty classic and normal. Nothing weird about it. Slightly old, slightly run down. And a nice little crucifix over here. With an Elder sign under it. Yes. I've missed so much, probably. The journalist. Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. Yes. In 1915, he started publishing his own journal called The Conservative, which included political and social commentary, poetry, short stories, and literary criticism written by him and other authors, like his friends. Howard was a skilled wordsmith, but he also took criticism to heart, which resulted in his decision to step away from writing poetry and concentrate on weird fiction again for the first time since his teenage years. Dagon, published in 1917, is one of the short stories written during that period. In this example excerpt from The Conservative, the master of horror fiction explains his attitude towards warfare and the idea of world peace. Why any sane human being can believe in the possibility of a universal peace is more than the Conservative can fathom. Should the entire civilized world agree simultaneously to disarm, one or more nations would undoubtedly retain secret armaments, and at the proper time take advantage of their most altruistic and less astute contemporaries in the wild career of conquest against unarmed victims. No country is, or ever can be, above warfare, until the basic impulses of the human animal shall have miraculously changed. I mean, I get it. I'm not sure I agree, but I get the thought. And I don't think we can have super world peace either, but I don't know. I don't think we need to remove all weapons to have world peace. Either way, I like the little formulation of, like, he took criticism to heart. He also, like, had a lot of trouble with his confidence, and criticism could hit him very, very badly as well. And I think he stopped writing poetry because people didn't like it. But his weird fiction is great, so thanks for that. Alright, let's have a look at Christianity over here. The atheist. Lovecraft considered himself an atheist, an absolute materialist, which he attributed partly to his early childhood interest in astronomy and science in general. In his own words, I am indeed an absolute materialist so far as actual belief goes, with not a shred of credence in any form of supernaturalism, religion, spiritualism, transcendentalism, metaphysics, metempsychosis, or immortality. There were two words in a row that I didn't understand. I have no idea what transcendentalism is, and I don't even know how to pronounce this. Metempsychosis. Either way, I probably not believe in them either. All I say is that I think it is damned unlikely that anything like a central cosmic well, a spirit world, or an eternal survival of personality exists. They are the most preposterous and unjustified of all the guesses which can be made about the universe, and I am not enough of a hair-splitter to pretend that I don't regard them as errant and negligible moonshine. In theory, I am agnostic, but pending the appearance of radical evidence, I must be classed, practically and provisionally, as an atheist. And the source is Against Religion, the atheist writing of H.P. Lovecraft, Mythos, the myths and tales of H.P. Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard, which is apparently written by the two of them. Alright. I have gotten weird religious vibes from some of his stories, but not in terms of him believing in it, more in terms of him using the imagery. And he's got a thing with silver and bronze gates that I don't understand, but a lot of his weirder writings have it. And I never understand what's going on in that. Alright. I don't think we have any more stuff to go in here. Hello, plant. A nice plant. Very flat. And the door moved. Ugh.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Oh, hi. I see you. Dagon, or Dagon, was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was a common noun for grain. They named their god Grain. Okay. The rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as their patron saint of the war conquests. He also appeared as the judge of the dead in an Assyrian poem and an underworld prisoner war in one of the Babylonian texts. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of the name, as in Hebrew the word dag means fish. Okay, so I thought it was like fish. In H.P. Lovecraft's work, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that reside in the ocean. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. Agreed. And gross. Is that a clock? It's a nice clock is what it is. Got a nice bust going on. Yeah, this is classic England. Okay, the music cut out. I hope I didn't do anything. Okay, I think the music is just being weird. That is on brand. Oh, painting. Nice painting. Hello. No, that's moving on. Wait a moment. I am checking the table. Lots of writings here. An entomologist. Told you about Dagon. Yeah, I think we're probably done. Let's move on. What you got? We're standing.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
I'm not sure he's hopelessly conventional, man. Have you seen that? Have you seen this little thing? That's not conventional. Music cuts out pretty abruptly right there. Alright, what you got here? The Marketer. Lovecraft's attempts to find a job in 1925 were influenced by advice he received from friends. Among others, he started freelancing for a marketing magazine, where he would write announcements and commercials. Feel free to judge his copywriting skills for yourself. Alright, from an ad for Curtis Woodwork. Curtis Woodwork embraces both the usual structural units and the cleverest contrivances of built-in and permanent furniture such as bookcases, dressers, buffets, and cupboards. Every model is conceived and created with the purest art, ripest scholarship, and mellowest craftsmanship its energetic enterprise can command, and made to conform rigidly to the architecture of each particular type of home. The cost, considering the quality, is amazingly low, and a trademark of the individual pieces prevents any substitution by careless contractors. Okay, he had a thing with letters, didn't he? There were so many... In Danish they're called letter rhymes, but I don't... He used the same letters so many times. Like an energetic enterprise can command. That is beautiful, though. I'm not sure I would have bought this, but it is nice. Alright, we found another secret. We are great at this. Ooh, another bookshelf. We're gonna check that one after. Alright, what do we got here? August Derleth and the Cthulhu Mythos. Okay, August Derleth was an American writer and anthologist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his work through his company, Arkham House. Although he greatly contributed to the popularization of the author's works after his death, he is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of his most questionable decisions involved introducing the good versus evil doctrine. because Derleth was a devout Catholic, to the Cthulhu mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror. As a result, the author's work are often misunderstood and misrepresented in today's culture. It is also worth noting that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology, and the term Cthulhu mythos was coined by Derleth after the author left the mortal plane. That is a good point. Lovecraft was never creating an extended universe in the sense that we like to think about with Marvel movies nowadays. He just wanted to write stories, and he liked cosmic horror. And if people wanted to put his writings together as if it was one big thing, that's cool. But he never intended it so. And that doesn't mean that we can't do that. I certainly am doing that. It just means that if stuff doesn't fit together, it's not because Lovecraft himself had a great idea and we just haven't figured it out. It's because it doesn't fit together, and that's okay. I don't know a lot about this Derleth character. I probably should look him up. Alright, but how am I moving on from here? I can turn all the way around. Maybe we should check some more stuff. That's nothing. Okay. Oh, okay. It swoops around when you go too far in that direction. That's okay. Go to that. Hello, statue. And clock. With another sign on it. The Scientist. These days, the word scientist is a widely accepted term, but at the time Dagon was published, it was the subject for a wild debate. After the author used it in the story, critics pointed out that man of science was a more appropriate term to employ. He admitted, in defense of Dagon, that if Dagon were to be reprinted, he would indeed use that phrase they suggested. Scientist was coined as an analog to artist, to be used when referring to those studying different branches of science. Yet, in the 19th and early 20th century, scientific researchers in Great Britain and the United States were of the opinion that man of science, resembling the term man of letters, was the only proper choice. Among other things, it was gender-specific, indicating that science was an endeavor to be pursued by only one sex. How wonderful! The term scientist became more accepted only after World War II, and man of science started fading into obscurity as an old-fashioned synonym. I never actually knew that man of science was supposed to be the better way of saying scientist. Thought it was more of a personality trait that you believed in science, so. Well, and also the nice little gender specific there did not pass me by. Alright, table? Nothing on the table. Nothing there. Well, the story stopped a bunch just so we could check all of this out. But I don't mind, there are a lot of nice tidbits in this room. So, I guess we're leaving now.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing.
Oh, it's gonna get creepy now.
I tried morphine,
Yeah.
but the drug has given only transient surcease, and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave.
Yeah, they knew it was addictive as hell.
So now, I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Sorry, I'm listening for footsteps. I know we're gonna get scared by the footsteps at one point. Lovecraft on tobacco and alcohol. Lovecraft hated tobacco. Same. Even though he used to smoke when he was 12 in order to look and feel like an adult, in his correspondence with friend Reinhard Kleiner, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. Alright, I don't like smoking because it kills people, but starting to smoking at 12, I know people used to do that, and some places in the world they still do, but by God, please don't. He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol, as evidenced by his letter to Celia Brown, 13 February 1928. As for the matter of drinking, I have never tasted intoxicating liquor and never intend to, having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunt or courses the delicate natural equipoise of the evolved human intellect and imagination. Drinking excited my personal pungence, hence I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will. I am rather in favor of prohibition. The prohibition of any one antisocial force, as well as of any other. Spirit of Revision. Lovecraft's letter to Sarah Brown, Green Bishop. Okay, I get it. If you said this today, I would say there's no way you haven't tried drinking. You tried drinking and you didn't like the feeling. That's fine, but don't try to raise yourself over the rest of us for that. I have already mentioned I'm in Denmark. We are pretty liberal on the drinking thing, also for youngsters. I'm not saying it's great, but I am saying that it's better than prohibition. Yeah, good to know you have a better opinion. Okay, we're back at this table. I don't think anything new is gonna pop up, but gonna check it. Why did you choose a room like this? This is just reminding us of that. I don't know. What is it? I can't even tell what these are supposed to be. Tapestry. Alright, moving on.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm, a mere freak of fever, as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war.
Oh, this is freaky. Oh, the sun. Oh no, it's sun. Oh, it's too strong.
This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply.
No, it's gonna pop out again, isn't it? It's gonna pop out.
I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed.
Yeah, but as long as it's down there, it doesn't bother you, right?
Worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses
Ugh.
on submarine obelisks
Oh,
of
okay.
water-soaked granite.
Okay.
I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind.
It would be the perfect time if they wanted to do that.
Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Ugh. War of the Worlds indeed. The million Godzillas. I was so afraid it was going to drop me into the water. I do not want to be down there right now. Beautiful skyline. That I must mean the color. Oh, don't drop me. Oh, thank God. Okay. Okay, I don't think I can do anything with those. Statue of Liberty.
The end is near.
Yeah, I know. Oh God, that sounds I hear.
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Oh, the door is moving. Oh no, I don't like that. I do not like that. But I want to see if there are any more clues. I want to know. I want to know. Please show me. Tarzan will call me. No, it won't. Alright, I think we're done here. We're done here. Don't open the door
It
though.
shall not find me.
Okay, you got up. You got up. I don't agree with what you're about to do, but I also agree with don't open that door. You're opening the door. Don't do that.
God, that hand!
Oh my. They got a hand. Freak. This is when you move.
The window! The window!
Yes. Okay, I can't turn. You just gotta turn yourself, man. Oh no. Okay, go. I can't believe you made me do that. Okay. Thank you for playing! We hope you enjoyed immersing yourself in our little pool of cosmic horror. We would appreciate if you took a moment to rate Dagon and check out our other games and DLCs. Maybe. Thank you very much for making the game, and I enjoyed it immensely. I particularly liked the night sky. It was very pretty. And you actually read out the whole freaking story. That was amazing. Lovecraft is, public domain now, so you can just do that. I also like this thing. Oh, I was gonna look at it some more. Okay, so I can continue. Oh, I missed one! Oh, I missed a few. Okay, I missed a few, but not that many. I got most of them. So I'm gonna consider that good. I'm gonna say that's a win. So thank you so much, Internet Void, for coming on this little journey with me in Lovecraft. I don't mind the shorter games at times, especially not if they're free. And this one was it was just a real treat. It was a good little experience. I wasn't expecting them to just read out the whole story. I was actually expecting them to put their own little twist on it. So on that I'm actually slightly disappointed, but they did a very good job of putting the whole thing, like, bringing the whole thing to life, and also showing the fear creeping in the main character as he thinks the monster is coming for him, and then showing the hand. And good voice acting, by the way. So I should probably show the credits here. So I'm guessing you're a bit goblin. And we say thank you to Martin Owen for your voice acting. I really enjoyed that. Soundtrack had weird cutting out sometimes, but I think that's on purpose, so good job you guys. I'm playing the English version, so I'm gonna assume you did good on the translations. Thank you to all of you, all those who helped improve Dagon by providing feedback after playing the demo. Free asset purchased and found online, yeah. Additional design by this guy. Story written by Lovecraft, not surprising. Oh, bit Golem is up here. Weird face. Alright, good job everybody. I like the game. So I think that's it for now, Internet Void. I hope you have a good one, and I'll be back with another Amnesia episode probably, or the Skyrim or something. So, bye.